My name is Brad, I'm the Butcher Wizard, and I went carnivore. This is the week 2 update. Let's get the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's get it out of the way. Let's do it. This is my carnivore journey, week number 2. I want to share all the things that happened this week. So the biggest change has been, I know if you watched the week 1 video, which go ahead and check the link in the description to see week 1, but I struggled a lot. I struggled with getting the amount of electrolytes. I think that was the huge problem that I had. I was dizzy. It was no good. This week, smooth sailing. I haven't had to take any electrolyte packets. I think maybe one time I did, but it was so smooth and my energy levels were so smooth. So that I hope that we are out of the woods on that one and that one doesn't come back because that was not fun. As far as the eating goes, I was doing great. I am doing a lot of eggs, scrambled eggs and ground beef, and it's just kind of feeling for me. I add some cheese every now and again if I'm feeling crazy. I'll have some cheese, but like that's mainly what I've been eating. One thing I did do one day, which was fun, was I made a burger patty and I put a fried egg on top, and it was so good. This is like my, for Loco Moco. Have you guys ever seen that in Hawaii? They do Loco Moco, which is like rice and hamburger patty, a poached egg or a fried egg with a beef sauce, like a gravy over the top. It's so good. This is my lame attempt at a Loco Moco. I think maybe next time I will add, maybe I'll make a sauce, make a good beef sauce to put over the top, beef gravy to put over the top. But like, this was so good. I feel with the eating, it's like you gotta vary the textures because that is the biggest thing. When you can't vary the flavors so much, you gotta vary the texture. So I'm gonna be experimenting with that much more in the future. I feel like this week I was not feeling as hungry. So I feel like my hunger levels were like very low the entire week. So the way that my cadence has kind of worked is I feel like at 10 o'clock or so, I have a breakfast or the first meal of the day. And that sustains me. As long as it's big enough and satisfying enough, it will sustain me for most of the day until the evening. I then eat with my family and I will make an entire dinner that is a protein, a starch, and a vegetable, and I'll just have the protein part, and that seemed to go pretty well. But I used to have like these cravings at night, like at 9 o'clock I would want something to eat. I don't have that at all. I can definitely go without eating after that last meal. So I had another coaching session with my friend Peter from Carnivore Coach International. He's been gracious enough to check in with me every week and we talk about the different challenges I have and what I want to work on next week. So here is a couple of clips from that interview, and I want to share that with you because I think the carnivore coaching is very important. If you are available to receive coaching, I think it's going to cut a lot of the discomfort and a lot of the unknown from this diet. So I can't be a bigger advocate for getting a coach for this transition that you're making if you're starting the carnivore diet. So again, Coach Peter, he's been awesome. He actually coaches coaches. So he has a whole program that teaches people how to be carnivore coaches. For some of you who have like had a great result on carnivore and you want to teach other people, he is your go-to person to learn how to teach people how to be coached. Like, this is a lot of coaching, teaching, all this stuff. But he's great. He's the guy you need to go to. So let's go to that interview now, and he'll go through week 2 with me and give me a little bit of recommendations of where to go next.
Hello, beautiful people. Carnivore Coach Peter here, and we have Brad, the Butcher Wizard, back with us again. How are you doing, Brad?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, our pleasure. Now, we are doing a check-in. This is our second week into carnivore, correct?
That is correct.
We're all itching to hear. How's it been? How's it been going?
This week has been super normal as far as energy levels, as far as everything. Like I've really hit my stride this week. I know last week I had a little bit of some problems, some challenges to overcome, and this week has just been kind of smooth sailing. This week has been more of a mental week than anything else, where I don't feel hungry and I don't like. I'm just trying to kind of fit carnivore into my life, and that's been the biggest challenge. I think has been like the mental part of it, like the when you're supposed to eat, whether I'm eating with my kids and my family. Like this has been, I think that has been the biggest struggle this week. We'll talk about that here, I'm sure, in a little bit.
And your energy, has it been stable pretty much, or?
Yeah, pretty much the entire week. I think I've only had to do the electrolytes one time, where I felt kind of started to get that kind of weird feeling where I was. It wasn't anything like the first week, but it was just I just one time I was like, I probably need something, and then it corrected itself right away. But otherwise, just been salting my food. Really heavily salting my food, which has been great because I've always been a huge salt person. Like having the okay to like salt your food. That's what you told me last week, and
Yeah.
so I'm like, here we go. We'll just have some extra salt, and that's been helping out a ton. And I just had to do electrolytes one time, so I was pretty happy with that. It's just it's getting to normalize, which is so great.
Awesome. And you get to stuff yourself at the
Yeah,
same time.
yeah, and it. I think we can talk about this, but like for me, like the next step is kind of to get past. I think get past the same foods that I've been doing. 'Cause I think what I've been doing is like okay, leaning on like eggs and ground beef, and I've been having that like a lot of times. So sometimes I'll have it for dinner, sometimes I'll have it. Every day I'll have it for breakfast. But I think for me, it's like okay, let's start branching out. Let's start
Yeah.
getting a little bit more different cuts, different textures, things like that. I know this is funny. I don't know if this is for whatever reason. I've been craving stuff on a bone. I feel like I need to like chew on the ribs or something. So I think I'm definitely gonna be doing that next week.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you're probably craving that, like that collagen that's deep into the bone and
Yeah,
everything, right?
and maybe
So,
that's it. It's so funny that your body will crave things that you don't normally get, and you don't like really clue in until you've like taken out all the other stuff out of your diet, and then it becomes like pretty clear to me, like pretty clear that your cravings are for a specific reason. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
that's awesome that you recognize that. That's one thing we do teach the coaches is that, when you have carbohydrates constantly, you have those sugar. It messes up with your hunger signals because if you're craving sugar, you don't really need it. It's just your body used to it. But when you cut out the carbs, your intuition's a lot more intuitive with what you need. So if you need more salt or if you need more fat or if you're craving more bacon or even something like seafood, it sounds like you want to expand your what you're eating so far, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that actually brings me to a question that I had for you. Was like I do have found myself craving more lean meats.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that is I don't know, kind of what your thought is on that? Because I know you do a lot of research in the carnivore community, and it's all about fatty meats and things like that. I've had still and great energy levels, but I've been craving leaner meats. I don't know if that's because I have a lot of body fat to burn myself, and I don't know if that is the case or what is your kind of like your experience with that, where people I don't really have that craving for higher fat foods.
Great. Well, that's a good question. It really depends on the person. And you have a great point is because you might have higher fat on your body compared to someone else who has like a lower fat percentage, they go through these stages where they're not craving as much fatty meat. So listen to that feeling. It might be your body saying, hey, we want to use up some of this stored energy, if you will, on the body. And then, but fat is important. You want to still get enough. So if those cravings come back for more like the fattier meat, you can start adding more of that again. But you might not need as many things like the butter or the tallow. You might want to go more of, let's say, grass-fed meat or chicken or fish. Is that kind of what you're thinking for leaner meats?
Yeah, so it's just I've wanted shrimp, which I know are super lean, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and like different things. I had a fillet that I had in the freezer, and that tasted really really good.
Awesome.
I had a ribeye, and I was like sitting here eating a ribeye. I'm like, man, that's a lot of fat on this ribeye. It just, I don't know. It's just funny because when you're intuitively eating, I want to make sure I'm like cluing into these signals, which I've not had before. Where
Yeah.
it's like, okay, maybe that's just me saying, my body saying, hey, like, just eat whatever you're craving, and that's what that's for. As long as I'm not like you said, having the carbohydrates, having the sugar, having the other things, it's almost like the first time I've really can like get get into what my body wants, what it wants. So I'm just kind of
Yeah.
wondering like what your thoughts were.
No, it's a it's a great point, great question. Some people don't experience that till like a few weeks into carnivore. And so it may have happened earlier for you. So if you're lower in energy, like if you're kind of feeling lethargic and you're really tired, you might want to up your fat again. But if you're feeling hungrier, like you can't get enough food, that's your body saying, okay, I need more protein. So when the hunger signals do start to heal without having the constant dopamine kicks with the carbohydrates and eating more, let's say, a sober meal plan like you are now, listen to those feelings. If you're craving seafood for a certain time, go for it. If you're craving more chicken, and then you'll see a few days will go by and you'll be like, okay, I really need a fatty ribeye right now.
Yeah, like you're saying, I think it's listening to it, and it's kind of exciting because you're like, why am I eating? I've
Hmm.
never really had those thoughts before, so it's it's kind of fun.
That's awesome. I'm really proud of you, Brad. This has been a huge undertaking, but like you said, you had a huge freezer full of food just waiting for you, right? So, well, I was just curious. Now that you've done 2 weeks, are you curious to do even longer than the 4 weeks originally mentioned,
It
or?
is definitely. I think I'm gonna have a tough time when I'm at my end of my 30 days because I've committed to 30 days and I'm really strong on that. And then there's a part of me that goes like, there's gonna be some sort of like permanent change, and I don't honestly, I'm not gonna know till I get there. But I have heard a lot of people's anecdotes from the channel have been like, "Hey, you gotta do more than 30 days. You gotta do 60 days, 90 days. If you do the longer, the better." Which I can definitely see. Um, it's just gonna be it'll be interesting. Ask me that question in a couple of weeks, and then we're gonna be like, "Okay, what am I gonna do with this?" Because then I get into like, okay, now we're gonna roll into the holidays and
Yeah,
that kind of thing and that mental thing, and it this is providing a problem because I was hoping there's a part of me hope it didn't work.
yeah. You were hoping you would hate it.
I know I was hoping I would hate it and didn't work, and then I'd be like, okay, I'll just throw this away, and now I'm like, oh, no, I can kind of see this, like so
Hmm.
it's gonna be a different thing, and maybe it's something I can do cyclical. I don't know if that's something people do where you're doing it on a like
Rotation, kind of,
a
or
couple of months, you take a month off, or you do a couple months. I don't even know because it's hard because I don't see how it would change too much right now because
hmm.
I'm getting into that habit. There's also the habitual thing where okay, I'm just eating meat throughout the day in the morning, and then at night, if I added stuff back, if I added like broccoli back or some other kinds of vegetables back, and I could get that, you know, that meal with my family, and that's more regimented. I don't see why I would stop doing that. I don't know. It's very. I mean, it's a hard question.
Well, like you said, I'll ask you in a couple of weeks, and maybe we can make a
Yes.
plan more long term. Some people, I saw in the comments too. Some people do more of like an animal based thing where they might add some fruit or some honey once in a while. Other people go more of a keto approach where they keep their fat and protein, high enough to sustain them, but they'll still have some plants here and there to for variety, maybe some more spices, that kind of thing. So we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks. We'll see. I say everyone should at least experience the full carnivore diet for at least 30 days to see how they feel.
I think with me too, it's like I don't have like I know a lot of people like I've listened to a lot of podcasts, a lot of different stories from people, and I don't have like autoimmune disease. I don't
Yeah.
have a lot of these things. I can understand where people are like if they have like a deep rooted like autoimmune problem, and this is the fix to that problem. How you got to go like 100%. And then for me, I feel like, I don't really have a lot of those. I don't have any of those problems. I have like some minor things that hopefully will clear up with
Hmm.
doing more protein, doing more fat, things like that, doing more just real foods. So it's hard because like I could go to eating like a couple of vegetables, some fruits, some honey, some different things, and be just fine. But you know what I'm saying? Like I see those people who really are hurting in the
Yeah,
community, and it's like you guys, like I feel for them because they have to do that. Like
they
they
have
have to
to.
do it 100%, and I just feel like I'm a little bit different, but I still have weight to lose. Seems to be working really well, so it's going to be a hard conversation to have.
Well, maybe what we could do is if this video gets 100,000 likes, you have to do it for 90 days.
Hey, I'll do it. And if we have to
Okay,
go,
there you go.
hey, I said it. I said it. I'll do it.
You all heard that.
I think, and it's the other thing too. If I hadn't have had the YouTube community, if I hadn't had the carnivore community, like all coming, like all the comments have been amazing, and that really helps too. Like the community behind it really helps.
Hmm.
And if it was just me and no like documentation, no putting in things on the internet, I don't know if I would have been able to even make it this far. So it's really important that we do have this community, and it's just been a lot of fun. Everyone's been so nice. So
That's great. Well, it's great to hear you have an awesome audience too, right? So that's, you've attracted those people to you. So well done on that as well. So, okay. Well, I think do you have any more questions for me before we wrap it up?
I did have one quick question. So what is the consensus on organ meats? Is that kind of like, I've seen some people say yes, some people say no, some people say if you like it, go ahead. I'm not totally averse because I've had like a steady, like in the restaurant business, in the high end restaurant business, I've done a lot of different organ meats and stuff like that. So how does that key into what we're doing here?
Yeah, that's a good question. Organ meat's got a bit of a bad rap because some people were overdoing it. It's a very concentrated form of nutrition. You got to think too, like if you kill a cow, that cow could feed you or your family for almost a whole year. So how many cow livers or hearts would you actually ideally have? But the benefit of organ meats is that it is nutrient dense. So a good way to kind of manage that is again with your intuition, like bring yourself some liver, a good quality liver or heart, try it. And if it tastes good, it's your body saying, okay, we kind of need this right now. But then there's people who have it too much and they say, oh, the liver doesn't taste good anymore. And some people have liver even raw. I know a lot of people do that. They actually say it tastes better. I'm not sure if you've ever tried that.
I've never tried raw liver before. No, no.
No. Yeah, use it. Organ meats are a great tool. Just use it sparingly, So like even myself, I might have one liver per month at most, for instance. I do take, if my sugar is high, like if I'm having more carbohydrates for family events or something, because life does happen sometimes, I'll increase my organ meats just a little because my body will be craving more nutrients because carbohydrates mess up your system a little bit that way. But we can talk more about that another time.
Okay, yeah. And you go to the liver and the heart. Is that kind of like,
Yeah, a liver is a top one, and you can get supplements even. Like if you don't want to eat them, you can take a pill form as well. But yeah, liver is a pretty common one. I think that's the
yeah,
easiest one to get.
just kind of a you do more research and you get more questions. So
Okay, well, this is a great video idea, like having some raw liver live on camera.
yeah. Well, there might be a video coming soon about incorporating liver into ground beef. So
That's why I consider too is like hot dogs. I almost consider them a superfood because they do incorporate a lot of the animal, like
mhm.
nose to tail. So it's not just the muscle meat. So it's nice to have some variety that way for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, you do more stuff, you do more research, and get more questions, and more like,
That's
hey,
true.
what's up with this?
You have a heart of a student. I like it. So anyways, great to chat with you again. I'll send you some exercises and then we'll touch base again next week. Sound good?
Awesome, Peter. I really appreciate your help and taking the time to help me out. I really appreciate it.
Our pleasure. We'll see you soon. Okay. Peace and
All right. one surprising thing with my week 1 video was the amount of comments and positive comments that I got from the carnivore community. I really appreciate it. I love hearing everyone's stories. I love hearing how long you've been doing it, the weight loss you've had, the things that has helped out with autoimmune diseases or whatever is ailing you. And if this diet or just having extra protein, fat, or just animal products has helped you, I love hearing those stories. So please keep those coming, because it really motivates me throughout the week, because there'll be times where I'm like, man, this is getting a little tricky. Like, I could see how you could get off of this kind of way of eating. I think the community coming together really helps out with that. So please keep those comments coming. If you are a new to carnivore dieting, or if you are experienced, I got something for you. I created the Primal Cuts Club, which is a private members-only community in which I will teach you how to save more money on meat. I know, like, you can watch YouTube videos, but these are different. We have overhead shots that are kind of like culinary school classes. I used to teach culinary school, and this is the closest I've ever been to teaching a live culinary school class. So I'm gonna teach you how to break down all your favorite cuts through in-depth tutorials. Then we also have, twice a month, we have Q&A calls, live video Q&A calls in which you can ask your individual questions. I can bring you up on the virtual stage and we can have a conversation. And there's also a thriving community in which you can post your pictures, post what you cut, post what you cooked. It's so much fun. If this sounds something like you're interested in, please go ahead and click the QR code or go to the link in the description. And I cannot wait to see you in the club and connect with you there. So go do all the things. Let's go. What are you waiting for? Let's do it. All right, so we're week 2. Let's talk about what happens next week in week 3. So I am looking to do a lot more exercise. I have that energy level is really kind of perking up. I'm really feeling really well. So I'm gonna add more walks and we're gonna start doing resistance training. Peter from Carnivore Coach International is gonna help me out with a plan for some resistance training and some just some light, I don't know if it's gonna be calisthenics. I don't even know what he's gonna do. I'm excited to get that and I'm ready to dive in head first. As far as food is concerned, I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing. Having that first meal at 10 o'clock and then seeing when I'm hungry and eating after that. This is kind of a silly part. I don't know if this is real or this is my brain, but I'm craving meat on a bone. So I'm gonna get some ribs and I'm gonna eat some things off a bone. I don't know if it's gonna be lamb chops or if it's gonna be pork ribs or beef ribs, but this week I think I'm gonna need some meat on a bone. And like I said, I don't know if I'm channeling my inner caveman or what, but it's really, I'm ready for meat on a bone. I'm also gonna make some beef stock because I think that's gonna help out too, because I'm craving like that salty and like that umami, that rich, warm broth. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and drink that. So almost like coffee. So I'm still gonna have coffee, but then I'll follow it with a warm bone broth beef stock kind of thing. So I will share that with you as it comes available. I'm just really happy where things are right now. As far as your questions about meat, I would love for you to put them in the comments. Again, I am a novice when it comes to carnivore diets, but I am not a novice when it comes to meat preparation, meat cutting. So keep asking those comments. Join us in the Primal Cuts Club, and I just want you to be part of the community. I'm really excited for this new venture. So keep bringing it on. Keep bringing on the questions and the comments, and I will see you next week for my week 3 update. We'll see how it goes. So kind of some exciting news. For some of you who watched the week 1 video, you'll notice that I gained some weight. So I started out at 291 and I went to 293. So I gained 2 or 3 pounds. It's like there's some 0.5s in there or whatever. So I was a little bit discouraged, I have to be honest. And then I didn't weigh myself for the whole week because I was like, I don't want to ride this mental roller coaster. So what I did was I just weighed myself today. Today is, as I'm filming this, is a Friday, which is going to be when I'm doing all my weigh-ins. And I was 287. So if you're taking notes, I went from 291 to 293 and now down to 287. So I am all over the map. But if you look at that, I'm, from the start to finish, what is that? I'm down 4 pounds, which is pretty good for 2 weeks. I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's a pretty consistent amount of weight loss. So like I said, I don't know what happened that first week, but I'm not a nutritionist or anyone who has anything to do with science or health. So I'm just telling you what happened. So, but I'm super excited to be in the 280s. So as a guy who has teetered on 300 for a long time, I'm really happy to be where I am right now and continue to be going down. So I will continue to let you know how that's going. I put it at the end of the video because, if you don't care, you don't care. If you do, you do. But I'm pretty excited about it. So I don't have a lot of things that aren't related to being overweight. So that's my primary goal. So, hey, we lost a couple pounds. I'm good this week, man. Let's do this.